Ed Schultz News and Commentary brought to you by Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSave team. Just when you thought Keystone was behind us, just when you thought that the rejection by the president of this project that's gone on for 6 years was behind us, here comes the corporation with a massive lawsuit. TransCanada, like any other major corporation, any other multinational, isn't going to give up in the American court system. They have filed a lawsuit in federal court in Houston, Texas, seeking $15 billion in damages because the president has said no to the Keystone XL pipeline. Now, this is going to be a federal lawsuit, as I said, but it's still a permitting process that's taking place in some of the states in the Midwest, such as Nebraska and South Dakota. And the fact is, the issue of eminent domain is not addressed in this lawsuit. So I don't know how all of that is going to come into effect. But the fact of the matter is that this is a classic example of what we're going to face if the Trans-Pacific Partnership goes through. It will be lawsuits like this when multinational corporations feel like that they're not able to do business in the United States the way they want to. For more on that, let's go to Lori Wallach, Director of Public Citizens Global Trade Watch. Lori, good to have you back.
Thank you so much.
What about this lawsuit? Is this a microcosm of what we would be facing?
Well, yes, and it's even one degree worse than what you described, because TransCanada has gone to U.S. federal court to try and reverse the decision to stop the pipeline, saying it's unconstitutional. But then simultaneously, they've gone to a NAFTA tribunal, one of those infamous investor state tribunals. And it's there they're saying they get $15 billion from us taxpayers for being denied a pipeline that through a democratic process our government decided wasn't in our interests and was bad for the environment. So it's a double whammy where only foreign corporations get to use this investor state system. Now, TransCanada and NAFTA and Canadian firms generally have been the only ones attacking us using these extrajudicial corporate tribunals, where, by the way, the judges, the so-called judges, are just private sector corporate attorneys who rotate between suing governments to raid our treasuries and being the so-called judges.
I mean, if the American people can't consume this, if they don't understand how damaging this is, hell, we've lost America. I mean, this is just a complete circumventing of a representative government. What we decide doesn't always happen. That's the bottom line here, because there's a trade agreement with an international tribunal under NAFTA that could circumvent American law. That's what it is.
Basically, it's saying, well, you can pretend you have a democracy. You can have votes. You can have elections. But in the end, if these corporate rights that the so-called trade agreements give foreign investors are in any way infringed, according to 3 anonymous rotating corporate lawyers, then us taxpayers have to reimburse for the privilege of democracy, which, of course, will chill any of these decisions. I mean, hell, look at what happened with that country of origin meat label.
Yeah.
$1 billion of threat and sanctions, and Congress gutted that law that 90% of Americans want. We don't have that in the grocery store anymore, Ed. You go to the grocery store, you have no idea. It's mystery meat time. So imagine $15 billion.
Yeah, we're back to mystery meat. It might have the USDA stamp of approval on it, but that's just like a brown paper bag. It doesn't say anything or do anything. It just carries. And the bottom line is that the mystery meat is right. That you don't know where that consumers, you don't know where that meat's coming from. That's not what we voted on. But that's the Congress stripped it out so they could get along with the TPP. By the way, where are we with that horrendous trade agreement?
Well, here's the only good news. Folks, right now with all of our trade agreements that have those crazy tribunals, there are only about 9,000 corporations, and that's a lot, but it's a lot of ma and pa operations. It's from developing countries, not a lot of investors here. But if we get into that TPP, overnight, 9,500 more corporations, and it's the big doozies. It's the Japanese multinationals. It's the Australian mining firms. It's financial global firms. So how do we stop it? The good news is right now they don't necessarily quite have the votes to pass it in the House of Representatives. They're just on the knife's edge. So everyone hearing this who does not want a TPP future, you got to talk to your members of the House of Representatives. They all have public schedules. Go to the Blue Pages, call their local district office, find out when they're having an open house or a town hall meeting, and just go up and shake your congressman's or congresswoman's hand. Don't let go. Eyeball them and say, will you commit to me to oppose the TPP? Democrats and Republicans, a whole passel of them have already said they will vote no. You guys can all round up the last couple dozen needed, and we will save ourselves from this.
It's a conventional wisdom they'll get 50 in the Senate, but they don't have the majority in the House. Is that where it is?
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. All right. And Mitch McConnell's not doing it because of a tobacco provision, but he may be holding out on that just to draw these other guys in support out of it to make sure he gets the 50 votes?
He's wangling. He's negotiating. In the end, I will walk on my hands from Capitol Hill to the White House before that man opposes the TPP for real.
That says it all. Lori Wallach, always great to visit. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.